then, of course, that last video cut off. So anyway, where we were at here, this is part 2. Personal responsibility of minding your own dates and when things are due. Yes, I'm going to give you some due dates, but that expectation there is that you're going to find, you're going to have write down things and have your own clarification on assignments. You're also going to be mindful of your own due dates, deadlines. You are going to critically think when you're asking these questions. You're going to communicate well with me and others. You're going to reflect on what you do. You're going to do things every day in my classroom. That's why attendance matters. And that's why this expectation of you get points for everything, in my mind, is garbage, because it's not the points. I don't want you to equate points with value, as much as our system is already set up like that, which is why I talked about with the learning journals having to do it that way. But the day-to-day classroom activities, there's no points for attendance. You don't earn points for attendance. You lose points for not showing up. Same thing with participating in doing the classroom activities. You don't earn points for doing classroom activities. You lose points for not doing them. We have this baseline expectation in education that our students aren't active. They're not solving problems. I think we have a case of treating our learners too soft. And I don't mean soft in the regards of, snowflake or any of that happy nonsense, whatever people want to call people, but just soft with regards to their resiliency and their determination to learn something. And I don't think this is not a generational thing. This is not millennials or this, that, or the other thing. This is a product of the system that we have in education. So I'm probably off the rails here because that's just what I do. This was a long and winding road. What was I even going to talk about? The expectation with students, right? Expectations that I have with my students, day one. Number one, and this is going to be out of order, but let me sum up. Maybe, I don't know. I could keep going for an hour. Number one, you're going to come to class. You're going to show up on time, and you're going to do the work. If it's an online class and there's asynchronous things in it, then you're going to do those asynchronous things. Are you going to get points for everything? No. You're not. Deal with it. Points aren't the point. The learning is the point. Number two, if you're not going to make it to my class, or if you have an issue of I need more time with this, or hey, I don't understand what you're asking me, then you will communicate to me those issues and concerns. And you will communicate to me in a manner that reflects the professionalism required of someone who is in the workforce. Number three, you are responsible for your own learning, and that should be number one. You are responsible for your own learning. You are responsible for your own learning. You are responsible for your own learning. West Side. Or is it like this? I don't know. My subscription to Source Magazine ran out. But what I'm saying here, when you take responsibility for your own learning, that means, again, back to the communication thing, you're going to ask questions when you need clarification. You're going to participate in the class. So going back again, all these things work together when you take responsibility for your own learning. You're going to mind your due dates. You're going to take notes in class. And on top of that, you're going to listen. Because I am establishing this expectation right now for this day and every other day in my classroom. You will not remember everything that happens today. And there should be no expectation. So if you want to write down, take notes of every single word I say, or shoot a video, or take a tape recording, you're wasting your time. Because that is not the point. Your brain can only handle so much. And I'm going to give you 3 to 5 things. And we're going to use it and have an activity and get down and dirty with it. going to kick it around. We're going to play with it. And then we're going to come back and we'll reflect and think on it. That's why attendance matters. Because only by struggling with something, trying to do something, do we make the connections in here where we can hang the knowledge. If I just give you a list of facts, 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, big freaking deal. What are you going to do with that? They don't even ask that on Jeopardy anymore. But if I ask you, well, why did Columbus even sail to the New World? Maybe you read that at one time. I probably did, and I couldn't tell you. But maybe if I role-played in the scenario, maybe if I got down and dirty into what was actually happening and had a narrative around it, or had some type of actual physical experience with that information, then maybe it would still be in here. Maybe it is in there somewhere. Who knows how our brains work? We don't know yet 100%. But when I talk in the classroom, I'll tell you when to write things down, and I need you to trust me. I think that's another big thing with an expectation in the classroom. Folks, I don't know everything. And I'm going to make mistakes every single day I'm here. And I'm going to make mistakes every single day I'm here because I refuse to just be. I am constantly trying to better understand how we learn. I'm trying to continuously understand and improve the methods that I use to engage and create efficient and effective learning experience. So my pact with you as a student, and the expectation that you and I have, the bottom line is that we are fellow learners. And nothing in this world, no innovation, no creatively solved problem, no one has ever done that on their first try. Most people, it's taken hundreds of tries, hundreds of failures to get to that one point of success. It's only a failure when we refuse to learn from it. So the expectation that I have from you is that you try. And when things go right, or more likely things go wrong, you can talk about what you tried, what you thought, why you did what you did, what was surprising, what did you learn. My expectation of you as a learner is that you want to learn. The expectation that you should have from me as someone who has a long and winding road around education, but a degree in instructional design and experience in multiple learning environments, is that even if you don't think I know what I'm talking about, I do. For the most part. Sometimes I make shit up as I go along. And that's just part of the creative, improvisational nature of good teaching. Because like I said, if I can write out instructions for an assignment for you, we can replace you someday. If I can write out a list of instructions for me to teach, we can replace me someday. Maybe that's what some of you want. I don't know. But anyway, I've rambled. I'd like to hear your thoughts. This was part 2. Part 1, you can check it out. But again, what expectations do you set in the classroom? What do you think about the expectations that I want to set? Well, not only in the classroom, but in the learning environment. And I'm interested to hear what you have to say.